Under the lights at Veterans Memorial Stadium in Long Beach, California, it all comes down to this. 80 minutes separate Newport Harbor from a CIF championship. And tonight, the Sailors step onto the biggest stage of their season against Bishop Amat. Months of preparation, battles through league play, and a dominant playoff run have led to this moment. The energy is electric. The stakes couldn't be higher, and we're thrilled to bring you championship soccer tonight. Good evening and welcome to TART TV Sports and the NFHS Network. I'm Zachary Durham alongside Justin Lee. And Justin, this is just about what every team dreams of when the season begins, a chance to lift a CIF trophy.
That's right. It doesn't get bigger than this. A team setting two teams that have earned their way here and everything on the line. You can sense the focus from both sides during warm-ups. This is about composure, execution, and seizing the moment, Zach.
Yeah, Justin, let's take a look at how we got here. Newport Harbor has been nothing short of dominant in these playoffs. In 4 postseason matches, the Sailors have allowed just 2 total goals while scoring 8 of their own. They've controlled games defensively and shown that they can strike when it matters most, as overall they enter tonight with a 16-3-2 record and full of confidence in the system that's brought them to this championship match. Bishop Amat has been equally impressive, though. They come in at 24-4-3 overall and are riding the momentum of a statement 4-0 semifinal victory over Citrus Hill. And strong defensively, dangerous in transition. They are battle-tested, and they've proven that they belong here in this moment, Justin.
What's interesting about this matchup is the lack of history between the two programs. There's not a whole lot of online records that really tell us what they've matched up with each other through the last few years. And this is completely new territory for both sides. For Newport, a couple names stand out immediately. Ali Omar has shown time and time once again that he can score against any defense. He has a knack for finding space and finishing chances under pressure. Dominic Lucarelli is another key piece, a leader who's going to deliver big goals, who has delivered big goals throughout the season and sets a tone with his work rate and intensity. When those two are clicking, the Sailors are extremely dangerous.
Earlier this week, we had an opportunity to speak with Dominic Lucarelli about preparing for this championship match and what this opportunity means for him and his teammates.
Championship game, we're definitely looking forward to the fans being there, just like all the energy that's surrounding the big game. It's like one of the last ones. I mean, we'll have a couple after, but this is like the biggest one of the biggest. So we're just looking for that environment and that energy. We're going to translate that energy. We're just going to bring it all, leave it all on the field, leave nothing behind, and team camaraderie. We're just going to stick together with each other no matter what happens. Hopefully we win, but we're just going to leave it all out there, especially all the seniors. Could be their last game, so we just want to leave nothing there. We want to leave everything behind.
When it comes to keys for Newport Harbor tonight, my key defensively is discipline, as Bishop Amat have shown that they can capitalize quickly even in transition. If the Sailors stay organized, communicate clearly at the back line, and limit clean shots on goal, then they give themselves the foundation that they needed to complete a title.
That's right, and the key tonight is everything that Coach Nacho Sid has told this squad. It's about relentlessness, tenacity, and perseverance. It's a battle of heavyweights. Newport Harbor champions in 2024, Bishop Amat champions in 2025. One of these programs is just 80 minutes away from a second title in 3 seasons, so there's a lot on the table here, Zach, and both understand the pressure and both realize that they've got to put it here on the field tonight, and those minutes are going to decide a champ here today.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for Newport Harbor, relentlessness means constant pressure from the attack. Look for Ali Omar, Brandon Markert to stay aggressive, force mistakes, and test the back line early and often. While for Bishop Amat, the tenacity starts with Noah Guillen, the team leader in assists and goals, creating chances and finishing them. And on the other end, it's Angel Castellanos with 3 clean sheets this season, anchoring a defense that refuses to break. And perseverance is what it's going to take when the legs get heavy and nerves set in. In a game like this, it's about who can dig a little bit deeper and find that extra gear and seize their moment here in Long Beach.
Right, and in championship matches, chances can be limited. Newport Harbor has been efficient throughout the playoffs, and that has to continue tonight. Whether it's a set piece, a counterattack, or a moment of individual brilliance, they have to be clinical in the front line near the goal.
We're going to take a short break, but when we return, we'll continue building up to the kickoff here at Veterans Memorial Stadium as Newport Harbor look to bring home a CIF championship. Stay with us on TAR TV Sports and the NFHS Network.
Ford F-150 Hybrid 4x4 has an estimated range of around 700 miles and the muscle to tow more than 11,000 pounds. Get the Ford F-150 PowerBoost Hybrid with 0.9% APR financing and start saving at the pump. Ford F-Series, America's best-selling trucks, 48 years strong. Now it's time for the Ford F-150 PowerBoost Hybrid 4x4. With an estimated driving range of around 700 miles and the muscle to tow up to 11,200 pounds. It's tough, it's fuel efficient, it's a hybrid that gets the job done. Get the Ford F-150 PowerBoost Hybrid with 0.9% APR financing and start saving at the pump. Hurry in today.
At Hoag Orthopedic Institute, there's no one better at getting you back to you. Orthopedics and spine, it's all we do.
The Ford F-150, a workhorse with the power to take on anything. From California's best-selling truck brand. Now you can lease the Ford F-150 STX for only $359 a month. Just $359. Hurry in today. The Ford F-150 Hybrid 4x4 has an estimated range of around 700 miles and the muscle to tow more than 11,000 pounds. Get the Ford F-150 PowerBoost Hybrid with 0.9% APR financing and start saving at the pump.
Welcome on in to Veterans Memorial Stadium in beautiful Long Beach, California. It's the CIF Championship match between Newport Harbor and Bishop Amat. It's the Sailors in navy with Bishop Amat, the Lancers, in all white as we're underway from Long Beach. As Amat moving from left to right, trying to gain control of the midfield as the outlet to the corner is long. Wolfshagen for the Sailors runs it down. It'll be our first throw-in of the match. 80 minutes away from crowning a champion here for the 2025-2026 season in the CIF Southern Section Division 2. As Newport Harbor had quite a journey this season. Here they are, champions of 2024, taking on the champions of 2025, Justin.
That's right, and we talked about it before, two teams that have basically have had this history of being able to be in this game. We're talking about one of the best teams in the nation last year in Bishop Amat, and what they were able to do to get to the SoCal Regional Finals of Division II State Championship game. They came up on top over Sultana in the CIF Southern Section Championship game. They were Division I. This time they're in Division II. It's a much different tale on the board, but they're missing some of the best players from last year, just a few of them. And to know, like guys like Noah Gillen, like we talked about, 19 goals on the season, 11 assists. He hasn't taken a lot of shots, 59 shots this season, but that's because he's conservative about the shots he takes. He'll only take shots if he knows he has a shot at the goal.
And Bishop pressing early on, and because of it, they win possession. And Newport Harbor asked to step into the game defensively. Cross into the top of the box is not a clean connection for Bishop. That was a good pass and to the center of the pitch, but Harbor defensively on top of it.
Boy, was that a dangerous attempt right there, right in the middle. Good play to put it and center that ball, but unfortunately, the main attacker up front missed the foot. If he had the foot right there, that quickly would have been the first goal of the game. Especially against Bishop Amat, you can't have those kinds of scenarios happen early on in the game. And this is something that this is what the Sailors did in the last game against Downey. You're talking about a number 1 seeded team, and they somehow held them for almost a majority of the game, and they were able to hold them back until the last few minutes, and that's kind of what let them get back in front. So what they need to do tonight is continue to hold this team off and just figure out how to stay on the field and disallow things like that to happen.
Now the field is flipped. It's Newport Harbor on the attack and Bishop in defense as they try to go on a quick counterattack here. Saucedo on the right wing, hands it off to Hernandez. Giancarlo Hernandez dices through a couple of Navy jerseys, and he's tripped up. We'll have our first stoppage. No booking just yet, just a foul against Newport Harbor. Less than 2 minutes into this match.
Hayden Baker tried a bit of a slide tackle right there and gives them that first chance for Bishop Amat to get that free kick there.
A dangerous spot for a set piece here on the 30-yard line. Strong header off target as Bishop Amat had a couple of guys waiting at the back post, and it looks like that's Dylan Gonzalez with the shot attempt on his header that went wide left.
It's not going to be easy tonight, but they have a very good senior in Shepard. He had 10 saves last week, Jack Shepard. He was a part of that Division II team back in 2024 when they went 26-1 overall. And Coach Nacho Sid said for 78 minutes, Downey outplayed them out of the park, but it was because they relied on the three things that Coach Ignacio endows on this team, which is the three different things. It's, relying on the free kicks, corners, and long throw-ins. He believes that those are the factors that can swing games, and Newport's going to have to continue to do that same recipe that helped them out last week.
Dangerous pass playing out of the back for Newport Harbor as it was sniffed out by Dylan Gonzalez. But fortunately for Newport Harbor, Jack Shepard, the last line of defense, in goal. You mentioned it, he's one of the 17 seniors on this Newport Harbor team. You mentioned it, Nacho Sid knows exactly what he's asking of his players, and the players know what he's asking of them, and it all starts beyond the field. Wants these guys to be good people, good students, for good players, and because of that, it's produced quality results on and off the field. Harbor here, like I said at the top of this broadcast, 80 minutes away, well, less than that now, away from their second CIF championship in 3 seasons.
And that's the difference between him and many other coaches in this area. When he came into this program, he came in 2009, took a break, came back, took over the program in 2018.
Dangerous header in the box, collision between, looks like Lucarelli and the keeper for Bishop. And now they want to go on an attack. As the long ball up the middle, jostling is won by Gonzalez, but he's called for the foul. And Cameron Deisner having some words with the Bishop Amat forward.
Getting that one-on-one there with Gonzalez, and both of them kind of getting wrapped up in each other, and Deisner had some few choice words for him during that free kick, or right before that free kick was called. But you talked about good students. This is a guy, Coach Ignacio, checks the grades weekly. If you have D's, you don't play. If you have C's with missing assignments, you don't play as well. And he'll bench the top players because he wants to make sure that these guys are on top of their game throughout their entire high school career and beyond.
You can see what Bishop are trying to do here. They're playing long balls along the wing and forcing Newport Harbor to stretch out defensively, and it'll be another throw-in from a deep part of the field. It'll be from Wolfshagen.
You know, when Ignacio came into this program, he realized that many of the pro talent out here were skipping high school for a lot of pro academies. So he focused on developing local talent, building belief in group, and hard work and sacrifice emphasis. That's the reason why he even developed his own soccer club with the Patadores.
That came to Newport Harbor from Sage Hill, and in season 8 has just taken the momentum he has built and not looked back. Built quite a program here, intercepted by the Sailors as they try to turn defense into offense, but quick exchange of deflections in the middle of the pitch. Once more, here's Ali Omar, who takes collision. That was Michael Luna called for a foul. It's going to be something to keep an eye on, Justin, throughout this game, is discipline and staying out of the referee's book. We saw one set piece already in a dangerous area. The more of those that continue to pile on for either team is where we could have a difference maker. And Nacho Sid, I believe you mentioned it, big on the set pieces, and I believe he doesn't really want to share anything about it, just very secretive about it, but I respect it. You don't want any sort of intel or insider information getting out on your set piece strategies. I mean, that's really a forgotten part of the game.
Yeah, even when he had the interview with Sunset Rewind, he kept the secret to the interviewer about those set pieces, but he'll use them, and they've worked for them throughout the season. The other big thing is, like you said, the referee book, they've got to stay out of it, but try to force the referee book on the other team. That's what worked for them last week. That's how Ali Omar was able to get that penalty kick, because he forced a handball call.
Jack Shepard had to come off of his line, way off the box, as Bishop Amat Lancers are attacking. Another foul here, as that one goes against Paredes. And right as we were talking about it, Justin, here's another set piece within the 30-yard distance at Veteran Memorial Field. This one a little more at an angle than dead on, which is even more dangerous for Newport Harbor defensively. The delivery is good, but it's met by the front line of the Sailors' defense. Now they try to go on a counter. Only two players up, and it's Brandon Markert and Hayden Paredes. Neither can get on the end of the clearance.
I'm surprised they're keeping the back line as far as deep as they have been for Bishop Amat. Right, very deep. You see the markers on the field behind the 30-yard line. They're just allowing Newport to go for a counterattack, but at some point we might see that, but they haven't been able to have that chance yet, but it'll come at some point.
Hayden Baker earns his team free kick after that foul. Let's see what Bishop Amat want to do. They want their forwards with the ball. Dylan Gonzalez, Sebastian Saucedo, as well as Giancarlo Hernandez. All of them have been fed the ball consistently to start this ball game. Just over 10 minutes into the first half between Newport Harbor and Bishop Amat.
This Bishop Amat team is missing two of their best pieces from a year ago, now part of much bigger D1 programs across the country. I'm talking about Matthew Barra. He scored in the game last year against Sultana in the CIF Division I Southern Section game.
The aggression from Bishop Amat's forward as Jack Shepard had a word for him as he picked it up.
Junior Moreno, he scored the golden goal to win the state title a year ago. Player of the year in the San Gabriel Valley Tribune, now at CSU DH Vegas Hills. And yeah, you've seen this at the very get-go. These two sides really getting chippy with each other. Though they're from two completely different areas, but they're playing like this is the Battle of the Bang. Newport acting like Bishop Amat is Corona Del Mar, and Bishop Amat acting like one of their rivals back in the San Gabriel Valley.
Well, that's certainly the mindset you're going to need if you want to be crowned a CIF champion, regardless of who you're playing. As Landon Baker retains possession for the Sailors. Gets it to Silva on the right wing. With Baker once again, but he flips it up. Now the Lancers have possession. They're looking for their forwards. O'Shagan heads it out. Dorelli trying to get on top of Noah Guillen. Here is the star player for the Lancers. 19 goals in 24 appearances this season. He's also got 11 assists. But in his career, 47 goals and 24 assists on 200 shots in 81 games played. This is a guy that has been very productive for Steve Jimenez in the Lancers.
He was part of the championship team last year. Wasn't the highest scorer with that team, but that's because they had really good pieces and he had to step up. He's been playing that back-end role.
Lucarelli with a one-time pass goes over top of the net, but a good build-up for the Sailors. It all started with Hayden Paredes.
And Diaz going to have to watch out for him tonight because he had 2 assists last week against that game in the semifinal against Citrus Hill. Got to be careful because this team will roll you over as soon as they knock in the first goal.
Take a look how both teams got here for Newport Harbor. In the first round, they took down Loyola 2-0, followed by a 2-1 victory over Oak Hills. And in the quarterfinals, another 2-0 win over Crossroads. They took down Downey 2-1 in the semifinals to get here tonight against Bishop Amat. And Wolfshagen with a power throw-in has a spot to do it here.
I don't think many people thought that this was going to be the result of this year for this Newport team, but a lot of people forget that this is a team that still has a lot of these championship pieces from 2 years ago.
Great throw and a great one-time headed pass into the top of the box, but it's Markert who was unable to cleanly get a shot off. Newport Harbor still in possession. A pass from Paredes is poked away. Baker took a hack at it, and he gets called for a foul, so the Lancers will have possession once again after a scare from Newport Harbor.
But you see why that threat happened there. It's because of the long throw-ins. That's something that Coach Nacho Sid emphasized. We talked about this before the game. They need to continue to do that because that is what worked for them. The last 2 goals from last week was, again, because of those long throw-ins. It's the only reason why they've been able to jump out in front of teams. They need to continue to try to force Bishop Amat's hand if they want to keep making those threats happen.
Young is dispossessed in the middle of the park. As the Lancers looking for an attack themselves, it's flicked up by Saucedo. Looking for Gonzalez, but Jack Shepard corrals it. Quick toss out to Omar. Loses it for a second and wins it back. He finds Wolfshagen.
Oh, that would have been scary if he lost that ball. He would have given it right to 2 different Bishop Amat players. And you certainly don't want to give it to Hernandez in that situation.
Paredes, who's been more involved here as this game has gone on in the midfield, looking for an option and is denied immediately, but ball comes right back to him. Gibson Young in the midfield as well. He's dispossessed. That one gets behind Paredes, but not behind the back line of Newport Harbor's defense. Cameron Daisner back there. Called to action as Newport Harbor surrounded by white jerseys here, as that one's deflected out. Just under 15 minutes into the first half, still scoreless. Just joining us, it was Newport Harbor who dropped the women's team, who dropped their CIF championship game 1-0 in a hard-fought battle. Boys team trying to write a different story here. As Baker stretches out, can't get it, but his teammates are there, headlined by Gibson Young. Here he is with the ball now. Tried to find Omar, but strong defense from the Lancers. Been a battle of possession here to start this half. Fans asking for a handball, it sounds like. As Young has plenty of space in the midfield, gives it to Lucarelli, heavy touch, gives it away. And a late challenge from Hayden Paredes gives away a free kick. As the "you can't do that" chants are being broken out.
And again, that he tried to make a slide tackle there, but the ball is already gone like that. And you're engaging a little bit there. Just have to be careful because you don't want to get a yellow card this early in the game.
Veterans Memorial Stadium, the host of the CIF Southern Section Division II Soccer Championship. As we have a stoppage of play here, waiting for the set piece to be delivered. Bishop Amat will kick it into Newport Harbor's box. As the second effort from Calderon, a one-time shot from about 25 yards out, catches the front line of Newport Harbor's defense, and Baker is fouled harshly as he grabs at his ankle. Quickly back on his feet, though. That's another thing that we have to keep an eye on, is the adrenaline in this game. You can see right there a heavy collision right there, and Landon Baker just popped right back up like nothing happened.
Yeah, that happens a lot. And we're going to see that a lot, obviously, with the way that these two teams are playing like that. And you're going to see a lot of flops. You're going to see a lot of fakes. And give Baker a Golden Globe for that performance right there.
Battle is won in the middle of the park by Hayden Baker. As Shepard, who's way off of his line, took a bit of an errant touch, and that one's going to go out the back. We'll have our first corner kick of the match, and it's going to be courtesy of the Lancers. It was an awkward position that Jack Shepard found himself in, and just kind of flailed a leg out there to clear the danger for the time being.
He can't put his hands up because he was way out of the goalie's box either way, so a weird position because he had two defenders at the back line. And yes, you want to have your goalie come out there, but you got to back up a little bit. Don't overextend beyond the penalty box because you don't want to give him a chance just like this to Bishop Amat.
Here's Noah Guillen, six-time player of the match for the Lancers twice this season, as he has a good delivery to the top of the box. The header goes down into the wall of Newport Harbor. A slip and a shot that just squeezes past the upright. A near goal for Bishop Amat as they're starting to threaten here. It goes out the back, and we'll have another corner kick.
That was scary on the inside there, but the last couple of shots on goal have been offline, left of that post. You got to imagine they're going to try to do it one more time and give him a third chance. It's not going to be good.
Bishop have had a handful of set pieces thus far. This time a corner from the opposite side from Guillen. Still floating in a dangerous area for Newport Harbor as it's recycled back to Guillen. Going one-on-one with his man. He gets by him. Steps back with the left. The lob cross to the box. Headed on target right at Jack Shepard. The Lancers are starting to kick into gear here at Veterans Memorial Stadium, as you see that shot just missing wide left.
I like the idea, though. It's a good attempt right there, but obviously with the header, not a lot of pressure on that ball, but it's right to the goalie.
That one's one-time shot into the back of the net. The Lancers have taken the lead here in the championship match. And it's Dylan Gonzalez who puts him on top. What a moment for the senior as his goal puts Bishop Amat ahead of Newport Harbor 1-0. About halfway through this first half at Veterans Memorial Stadium.
His second goal in the last 2 weeks. He got a goal against Citrus Hill. Starts off the party here for Bishop Amat with that one right there. 15 goals on the season now, and this is exactly what they've been doing, is threatening the box at the back line for Newport, and it ends up falling in the perfect spot for Dylan Gonzalez, and the rest is history.
Work to do for Newport Harbor here as they now trail by a goal. Credit to the Lancers. They were asking all the questions offensively. On the first whistle, they have been tenaciously pressing on against the back line of Newport Harbor, putting the back line and Jack Shepard in goal in uncomfortable situations. They were searching for that first goal and get it.
And that's the Steve Jimenez ideal there, is just full effort every moment, big time plays that come in big situations, and they definitely got that big situation done right there.
They're looking to do something similar here. They found a game plan, which is attack on the wing, get behind the defense, and square a ball to the top of the box for a one-time finish.
So that's how the best teams get it done, doing that roll to the wing, put it inside to the set piece, and just force those threats at the middle, put it in the middle, and at least get one of your own players to try to force a shot on goal. And they did that within the last 2 minutes. 3 different shots on goal, and finally, like we talked about, they finally got it done.
First time Newport Harbor's been down. Been asked to do it before, and they're asked to do it once again, this time on the biggest stage. As the Lancers keeping the pressure on offensively. Here they are in attack. Salcedo dribbling past a handful of Sailors. It's retained by Wolfshagen. Newport Harbor trying to play quickly along the left wing. Possession stays with the Sailors. As a beautiful pass almost gets to Lucarelli. Great delivery from Gibson Young to get it past the midfield. And now Newport on the other side of the pitch. We take a look at the goal once again. Just a perfectly placed one-time shot into the corner on a pass that couldn't have been placed on a better platter for his teammate.
Yeah, and Salcedo with the second most assists on the team. He was in the back end of that and just put it in the right spot at the right time.
Isaac Gonzalez now as he cuts inside. One-time shot from Guillen. Ricochets way out of bounds. He wanted all of that one.
Bishop Amat just seems like they know what they're doing right now in these situations. Newport Harbor just seems like they're kind of over-aggressively approaching the ball, putting all these players around the ball instead of trying to back up a little bit. Let one guy start to put a little bit of, that strategy like total soccer into your own hands, and they just feel like they're over-pursuing on the ball right now.
As we'll take a quick moment for a sub break. Michael Luna, captain for Bishop Amat, one of 4 for the Lancers. He takes a moment to tie his shoe. As Jack Shepard is told to take it back a few more yards. We talked about how Newport Harbor got here for Bishop Amat. It started with 3 consecutive 1-0 victories in the first 3 rounds over Woodbridge, Ayala, and then Culver City. They took down Citrus Hill 4-0 in the semifinals. So this is a team firing on all cylinders offensively and defensively. Have yet to allow a goal in this postseason. Omar cuts it inside, gets past his man, does it once more. Long distance shot on target from Paredes, but it's in the hands of Angel Castellanos.
And that's a good, I mean, I like the idea there on that attempt, but you just hold on to the ball, go to the wings, and then try to do the same thing Bishop Amat has been doing. You're not really going to get a lot of chances against a guy who who has a 99.4 save percentage this season.
Yeah, 24 games played with 3 clean sheets. He's got 79 saves. That's about just under 3.5 per game. He's also one of the 4 captains for the Lancers. As we take a look at this shot about 25 yards out from Hayden Paredes, as he wanted all of it. Trying to put his team on the score sheet and tie this ball game up at 1. Great delivery to the back post for Lucarelli. He slips. Ball is still in the area and it's pushed away. That's Aiden Hernandez on the last-ditch effort defensively for the Lancers.
And that was almost close to being a penalty kick inside the zone there, but had the referee on the field not giving Newport Harbor the benefit of the doubt there, but this is another chance for Harbor to do something with the long throw-in.
Rowan goes out of the back. Smart defending from Calderon. Yeah, both teams really headlined by strong senior leadership from their keepers. It's Castellanos who still hangs on to a clean sheet, although 13 minutes and change left in this first half, with the second half still looming. Newport Harbor, plenty of time to find an equalizer. As Omar runs into traffic on the left wing. He's one of those guys, as well as Lucarelli and Brandon Markert, that you want to get involved. You need a goal. Looking to do so here. Great dispossession and tackle from Young, but Newport Harbor trying to hang on to possession on Bishop Amat's half of the field. Battle for the ball. Won by the Sailors. Markert's pass is intercepted as it goes all the way back to Wolfshagen. Sailors will recycle.
I like the idea, though. Now they're starting to set up these set-piece strategies here in this situation and trying to force Bishop Amat back to the other side of the field right now. But Bishop Amat is playing a very tight man type of defense and keeping close with every single piece that's out on the field right now.
Got the shirtless crew here at Veterans Memorial Stadium. I think I saw a painted number or 2 on the backs there. That's fan spirit right there.
I'd love to see the tar pit come out and travel to the Long Beach City College Stadium.
Was that a 17 and an 18?
Looked like Wolfshagen and Deisner there. I mean, it has been pretty hot too, so it must be chilling out over there at the stadium. Why not?
It was warm in Long Beach. I was there earlier for the Long Beach State women's basketball team. Here we are at Veterans Memorial Stadium, just down the road from the campus of Long Beach State. As Lucarelli on top of it, he finds Markert, one-time touch, takes the shot into the hands of Castellanos, who once again stands in between Newport Harbor and the back of the net.
I really like that, setting up on the wings, kicking it back and forth, not letting Bishop Amat reset there, but not much really Bishop could do there on that shot on goal. Look, he had no choice. He had 2 men in front of him. He just had to take a shot there. I do like the idea, though.
Lucarelli switches play to Omar. Omar has a chance here to take a shot, hesitates a bit, and pulls it wide left. got caught in between taking the long distance shot or laying it off for his teammate Brandon Markert to his right. The shot was a good one, but it sails wide left. As here's the previous chance for Markert after a great pass from Lucarelli on the right wing.
You see the two defenders for Bishop Amat boxing out on that end right there. And it's a really good attempt there, but once again, you have one of the best goalies in this game right there in front to stop that ball.
Dangerous spot for Newport Harbor to be in with Noah Guillen pressing on. He wins his team the ball. Intercepted by Young, but given away by Bishop themselves. Omar with space. Wanted to cut it back, but looks like he initially lost his footing. It goes off of a Lancer. Wolfshagen seems to have slipped too, so the only player that loses footing in that part of the field.
Yeah, I've seen this plenty of times before at this stadium. This is a turf field that hasn't been redone in a long time, so a lot of the turf grass blades that that field is already flat.
An effort to the near post goes past a diving Jack Shepard, who was called to action once again. A great shot attempt from Elijah Areola. Let's go, Harbor chance being broken out here in Long Beach. 8.5 to go in this first half. Newport Harbor trailing a goal to Bishop Amat. Dylan Gonzalez put the Lancers in front with a sensational one-time finish. Been pretty even since then. Newport Harbor have not shied away. They've had a couple of opportunities to put one in the back of the net themselves. They're looking out to finish out this first half on a positive note. Paredes wanted to find a forward in Markert, but can't do so.
You'd rather, in most situations, you'd rather see Newport Harbor try to at least score a goal before halftime gets going. But this is something that they did against Downey. They let them get up by 1 point, and then they came back late in the game. So expect them to come up with a different set piece with Ignacio Nacho Cid trying to come up with a plan coming out of the locker room.
Deflection there, ends up in the middle of the pitch, but smart defensive work from Wolfshagen to just head it back to Shepard, who was able to grab it with his hands. As Markert along with Paredes on the right wing. Lucarelli's in the area as well. A collision and a foul. Markert tried to play that quickly, about 20 yards away from the referee. A for effort. Might as well give it a shot. As they bring it all the way back.
And Newport can play all the way through as much as they want to, and this is something that Coach Nacho Cid emphasizes. Another thing is being able to go the length and have the endurance to play through 80 minutes of a game.
Good delivery to the back post. Markert can't get on the end of it and put it in front of goal. It was a great delivery, and there was a number of Navy jerseys in the vicinity. Michael Luna has to toss it back in. Race won by Dylan Gonzalez, the goal scorer, and he gets a handful of Lucarelli's jersey. We'll see if there's our first booking of the match here. That was pretty egregious from the goal scorer. And the referee having a word with him, and will not see our first booking, but maybe the final warning.
Yeah, it was very clear as day that he was holding on Lucarelli there, and You can see it on the replay here. Look at it, holding on that right hand and not allowing him to get to the ball. Clear as day. Can't do that, Dylan Gonzalez.
Got not one but two hands on him. Great job from the camera crew to slow things down and take a better look at that. Wolfshagen, one-time pass into the box, on target, in the net! Newport Harbor have equalized! Wolfshagen couldn't have placed that on a more silver platter for his teammate who knocks it in. It's Hayden Baker with the equalizer for Newport Harbor with 5 minutes to go in the first half. And we're even in Long Beach.
You talk about it and you put it out in the universe, and that's exactly what he does there. Hayden Baker, we talked about it. The two Baker brothers, this is their last year, and this was such a beautiful place. Ball that they had, this is a different attempt, but Baker getting that ball right there one-on-one with the goalie, and there's nothing, really Castellanos could do there.
Angel Castellanos on the ground, getting some work from the medical staff. Hard to see. Yeah, it looked like might have gotten a collision in the face. Might have got the build up to that goal.
Might have gotten a foot in the eye from Hayden Baker's cleat as he put that ball right back in the net.
At the end of the day, the goal counts, and it all started with that foul on Lucarelli to set up that set piece, and the rest is history.
That's what we talked about. You give Newport Harbor a chance to do something close to the goal side, right? And this is what they did last week, was forcing those fouls inside, close to the penalty box. You give them a chance, and they're going to square away and put this thing through. So that's what Bishop Amat has to start realizing now as well, that if Newport Harbor gets any much closer there, you have to be able to clear that ball as fast as possible.
How about the delivery from Wolfshagen? The one-time pass just over the back line, asking for somebody in a Navy jersey to get on the end of it and put it in the back of the net. As you can see, Lucarelli talking with his teammates. That's a guy who looks like he's ready to lead this team between the ears. He knows how to get his teammates in the right mental shape to see out not just this final 5 minutes of the half, but the 40 in the second half as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's what Coach Nacho said. Keeps these players in shape, keeps them on tap, keeps them, in shape as much as possible. They can't play on the team unless they pass a Cooper test. It's running 2 miles in 12 minutes. If you can't do that, you're not on the team, man.
I would not make my Nacho Sid's team for sure. Nacho, you might have to have me as a player coach with that exception. But, yeah, certainly there's a lot of different things that this guy wants his players to instill in their lifestyles. And, fitness is not the only one. It's positive manners and you mentioned it, being able to focus on school when you need to. He's building some great young men. And on the field here tonight, able to find that equalizer. We talked about it. After they went down, they didn't shy away. They had a couple of goal-scoring opportunities on both ends of the pitch. And it's always interesting when you see the first goal go in. If you're going to see a second, it's always an important one. Is somebody going to go up 2-0, or are we going to see a 1-1 game? And Nacho Sid's team made sure it got to 1-1.
Yeah, this is a guy that's not building boys. He's building men. He's making these guys do what they can do. And here's that replay. You see perfectly placed right on sides, and Baker just pops out of nowhere and makes that right in there.
Here's that assist. Beautifully placed from Wolfshagen. The toe tap from Baker on target. And you can see where the collision between Baker and Castellanos was. As they announced the goal at Veterans Memorial Stadium. Sailor faithful in attendance without a loud cheer. Well, the Ultra section with the painted shirt, or the painted chest with the number 17 on it. Happy to see his favorite player get an assist in the championship game.
You better hope that they're happy. Of course, having the number 17 on the back of his bag. I don't know how long he's going to have that there, but I'm sure he's going to keep that on until the Newport Harbor team gets to the state championship if they win this one.
Bishop Amat asking the questions now. As Yin hit the deck, but no foul is called. Excuse me. That was Saucedo.
Wow, that was really scary too. And that was right inside the penalty box. I'm sorry. That is a crazy no call. That was that close to being called right there.
Newport's in trouble here as that one's deflected way out, but a dangerous spell of possession for Bishop Amat after Newport Harbor equalized. Just under 4 minutes to go here in the first half. It was Bishop Amat who scored first, courtesy of forward Dylan Gonzalez. And just before the end of this first half, Newport Harbor able to equalize courtesy of Hayden Baker. As we'll have another corner kick, which means we'll see another delivery from Noah Guillen. Looks like we'll have a change of keepers for the Lancers. That's Shepard asked to get a hand on the cross to the back of the net. Now a race on the far side. Won by Newport Harbor. They want to play quickly here. Two and a half to go. Can either team find a third goal of the half, one that would put their team ahead. Now Newport Harbor happy with possession. They recycle all the way back to Jack Shepard. Now it's Wolfshagen on the left wing. He's under pressure and gives it to Saucedo, who finds Guillen, but Shepard stands in the way. That was actually Gonzalez, Isaac Gonzalez on the goal attempt.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see who they switched out there, and I'm assuming at the goal for Bishop Amat, it's Bustos who's back there. He had 2 saves last week when this Bishop Amat team went up 2-0 against the Citrus Hill team, but imagine that's what happens. But because of that I factor, you see, that's going to change the outcome of this game. We're going to be talking about that, not only that goal from Baker, but the fact that he potentially might have taken the goalie out of the game for now.
Certainly something to keep an eye on for the second half, as Bishop Amat down their starting keeper for now. Battle for possession here. Lancers hang on to it. And whistle's blown, and they're going to call this a penalty. A couple of players hit the deck with just under a minute left in this first half at Veterans Memorial Stadium. The Lancers will have a shot from the penalty mark.
Yeah, it's Alex Silva on the other end. It seemed like he just put 1 foot on the ground, and next thing you know, one man on the floor, Noah Guillen, and you can't have that guy coming out there because that's your best goalkeeper. You force that inside the penalty box, and now you get Bishop Amat to go up 2-1 before the half.
So it's Noah Guillen, our player for this Bishop Amat team. 19 goals, 11 assists on the season. From the penalty spot, into the back of the net. And the Lancers reclaim the lead. A costly mistake for Newport Harbor at the back just before the end of the first half. Gives up a penalty and a goal for Bishop Amat, who lead 2-1.
Like we just felt like there was no doubt in your mind that Guillen was going to make that goal in a PK, and those are we talked about this earlier. You cannot have the ref book pulled out on this Newport team, but they let them do that there, and it ends up Bishop's way, and now they're up 2-1.
Confidently taken strike from Noah Guillen That's a guy who has scored plenty of goals before. That's number 20 on the season. But with 15 seconds left, Newport Harbor have a chance to put a shot on target as Omar's left-footed cross across his body, unable to keep it in fair play. As the final seconds roll out, there's the penalty call. It was Guillen who was fouled as he strikes it right down the middle. Forces Shepard to his left.
Yeah, and Silva tried to hide it, putting that foot right behind him and knocking one defender down, and you just can't do that.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5.
As another foul in the middle of the pitch just before the halftime whistle. And there it is. So the first 40 minutes in the books. It's Bishop Amat 2, Newport Harbor 1 from Long Beach at Veterans Memorial Stadium in the CIF Southern Section Boys Soccer Championship for Division II. Plenty of action left here on TAR TV and NFHS Network, as we'll be back for the second half for this matchup between Newport Harbor and Bishop Amat.
F-Series, America's best-selling trucks, 48 years strong. Now it's time for the Ford F-150 PowerBoost Hybrid 4x4. With an estimated driving range of around 700 miles and the muscle to tow up to 11,200 pounds. It's tough, it's fuel efficient, it's a hybrid that gets the job done. Get the Ford F-150 PowerBoost Hybrid with 0.9% APR financing and start saving at the pump. Hurry in today.
At Hoag Orthopedic Institute, there's no one better at getting you back to you. Orthopedics and spine, it's all we do.
The Ford F-150, a workhorse with the power to take on anything. From California's best-selling truck brand. Now you can lease the Ford F-150 STX for only $359 a month. Just $359. Hurry in today. F-150 Hybrid 4x4 has an estimated range of around 700 miles and the muscle to tow more than 11,000 pounds. Get the Ford F-150 PowerBoost Hybrid with 0.9% APR financing and start saving at the pump. America's best-selling trucks, 48 years strong. Now it's time for the Ford F-150 PowerBoost Hybrid 4x4. With an estimated driving range of around 700 miles and the muscle to tow up to 11,200 pounds. It's tough, it's fuel efficient, it's a hybrid that gets the job done. Get the Ford F-150 PowerBoost Hybrid with 0.9% APR financing and start saving at the pump. Hurry in today.
At Hoag Orthopedic Institute, there's no one better at getting you back to you. Orthopedics and spine, it's all we do.
The Ford F-150, a workhorse with the power to take on anything. From California's best-selling truck brand. Now you can lease the Ford F-150 STX for only $359 a month. Just $359. Hurry in today. F-150 Hybrid 4x4 has an estimated range of around 700 miles and the muscle to tow more than 11,000 pounds. Get the Ford F-150 PowerBoost Hybrid with 0.9% APR financing and start saving at the pump. The Ford F-Series, America's best-selling trucks, 48 years strong. Now it's time for the Ford F-150 PowerBoost Hybrid 4x4. With an estimated driving range of around 700 miles and the muscle to tow up to 11,200 pounds. It's tough, it's fuel efficient, it's a hybrid that gets the job done. Get the Ford F-150 PowerBoost Hybrid with 0.9% APR financing and start saving at the pump. Hurry in today.
At Hoag Orthopedic Institute, there's no one better at getting you back to you. Orthopedics and spine, it's all we do.
The Ford F-150, a workhorse with the power to take on anything. From California's best-selling truck brand. Now you can lease the Ford F-150 STX for only $359 a month. Just $359. Hurry in today. Ford F-150 Hybrid 4x4 has an estimated range of around 700 miles and the muscle to tow more than 11,000 pounds. Get the Ford F-150 PowerBoost Hybrid with 0.9% APR financing and start saving at the pump. Ford F-Series, America's best-selling trucks, 48 years strong. Now it's time for the Ford F-150 PowerBoost Hybrid 4x4. With an estimated driving range of around 700 miles and the muscle to tow up to 11,200 pounds. It's tough, it's fuel efficient, it's a hybrid that gets the job done. Get the Ford F-150 PowerBoost Hybrid with 0.9% APR financing and start saving at the pump. Hurry in today.
At Hoag Orthopedic Institute, there's no one better at getting you back to you. Orthopedics and spine, it's all we do.
The Ford F-150, a workhorse with the power to take on anything. From California's best-selling truck brand. Now you can lease the Ford F-150 STX for only $359 a month. Just $359. Hurry in today.
Welcome back into Veterans Memorial Stadium on Championship Day for the CIF Southern Section in Division 2. I'm Zach Durham here with Justin Lee, and what an entertaining first half that was between Newport Harbor and Bishop Amat. It was the Lancers who took the lead in the first half early, courtesy of Dylan Gonzalez, and then Hayden Baker, for the Sailors was able to equalize, and then just before the halftime whistle, it was the Lancers who retook the lead courtesy of Noah Guillen's penalty.
Yeah, and it's turning into such a big mistake because when you play in championship games like this, those moments become so microscopic. And unfortunately, on the other end for Alex Silva, he decided to put a leg out on their best player in Guillen and ended up giving them the lead going into the half. We talked about having that even marker be the best case scenario for this Newport team, but now they have to figure out how to get around Bishop Amat and doing the same thing that they've been doing. That's why Baker was able to score that goal, because they applied pressure on their side. The big story, though, before we went to the half was Castellanos. After that goal from Baker, we saw he got a foot to the face from Baker's cleat, and he was taken out in favor of a different goalie. So we'll see if he comes out, but again, that is the biggest story to me coming into the second half. Are they going to have a different goalie out there, and what will Newport do approaching that?
Yeah, I think the way they played in that first half, Newport Harbor still have plenty to keep their heads high on. I mean, all it really was a small lack of focus in those final seconds that gave up that penalty kick, and really was the difference, because on paper, that first half could have gone either way, as Ali Omar is dragged down immediately to start this second half, and we have our first booking. Right away, to start off this second half, it's Newport Harbor who win themselves a set piece. This one's 20 yards away from the left side of the field, so a very dangerous spot here for the Lancers defensively. Looks like it's Gibson Young standing over the dead ball. Waiting for the ref's whistle, he gets it. Young's cross eats the wall of Bishop Amat and finds the lap of Hayden Baker, who's in an offsides position. A good spot for Newport Harbor to find themselves in to start the first half, or second half, excuse me, but unfortunately, defensively for Bishop Amat, they were all over it.
And it's a good sign, too, because they have Castellanos back in the game, and we talked about it. That's a big question here. So now Newport understands that it's going to get a lot tougher than it looks now.
Somehow squeezing through three Navy jerseys is Noah Guillen. He finds a teammate whose shot goes wide, as Jack Shepard finds himself a new one. Jack Shepard of the 17 seniors on this Newport Harbor squad. Something that Nacho Sid is very proud of. The senior leadership on this team. So many different guys that can step up in a game like this, especially when their team's down a goal. Heavy collision on the far side of the pitch.
Looks like Baker got wrapped up in one of the defenders there for Bishop Amat and ends up with the free kick here. And you know exactly where Newport's going to be going with this free kick right here.
Delivery in a dangerous area. It's punched away from Castellanos. And it's a Newport Harbor corner kick.
Now this is a big opportunity right here, and both sides pretty even thus far throughout this game, Zach. 3 shots on goal on each side. This is a big opportunity that Newport Harbor desperately needs if they want to keep close here. This is not unfamiliar territory for them. A year ago, they won 4-3.
There's Sean Bolton looking on as the delivery to the back post, unsuccessful, but it's recycled by Newport Harbor. Although a couple of forwards for Bishop Amat in the area. It's a 3v2. Guillen goes past a substitute. That's Javier Jimenez in the game now for Newport Harbor defensively, as he squirts it away from Noah Guillen.
It's like Guillen actually managed to get that ball knocked off of Jimenez, so he'll have a throw in right here. And then 2 years ago, this Newport team beat Foothill of Santa Ana in this same exact Division II game. So they need to get some goals in the back of that net pretty early to keep close with this Bishop Amat team.
His throw into the center of the box, dealt with for now by Newport Harbor. A great block. And now here they are on a counterattack. It's Paredes on the right wing. He cuts inside, loses his footing, and it's in the lap of Ariola.
And that's something we talked about being a factor tonight, was that turf field at Long Beach City College just being worn out over the years and not being done so. And a lot of these newer stadiums have this new type of turf with, instead of the sand, usually the wood chips or some other material, but this is a rubber field, so these cleats won't get that type of dig into the ground because of how flat it is. And you saw right there from Paredes getting that slip up right there.
So a few substitutes are making their way into the game. There's Cesar Zepeda for the Lancers. Only a sophomore, but he's already played 43 games. That's a lot of experience for an underclassman. As Dylan Gonzalez, the opening goal scorer in this match, loses possession. The Newport ball as the throw in on the right wing. Trying to find Paredes is Javier Jimenez. The junior has subbed in for the second half of this CIF Southern Section Division II Championship game. We're from Veterans Memorial Stadium in Long Beach, California. As Sebastian Saucedo able to squeeze past a couple of Sailors as runs out of room there. Omar looking for help. He gets it from Landon Baker. And the ball looking for Markert. Not quite on the mark. This time he gets in the way of a clearance in front of Michael Luna.
And this game hasn't gone as chippy as it did at the beginning of the game. You're starting to see both teams starting to just focus in on playing this ball right here instead of trying to go after each other and knocking each other off each other's feet.
Great defense from Jimenez to hold his ground. And forces an errant clearance from the Lancers. That one's going to trickle all the way out the back. It'll be a goal kick for Jack Shepard.
I definitely want to see Newport Harbor get aggressive here in this first half, and because they are down by 1. You want to see them have a bit of urgency to start off and try to get that goal. So you take a little bit of pressure off your own selves, in this second period. So I'd like to see them at least pick it up the pace and try to get this ball as far down the field as possible.
High press from Bishop. Thought they were going to earn possession because of it, but a collision has given Newport Harbor a free kick. And Justin, you've been given a lot of credit to Nacho Sid, which has been very warranted, obviously, but got to give credit to the other side as well. Steve Jimenez in year 6 under the helm of the Bishop Amat Lancers soccer program. He was the 24-25 NFHS Coaches Association Southern Section Coach of the Year. They were champions last year, looking to do so again here as Elijah Ariola hit the deck in some discomfort here.
He just chopped up right there at the legs. And you talk about a guy who has a lot of experience, former Citrus College assistant coach, or still isn't since he came into their 2017, but before that, Cerritos College experience, the girls head coach at Glendora High School, the girls head coach at Sierra Vista High School, coaches his own club team in FC Man United, and a guy who has 15 years of experience when he played with the U.S. Army, a guy who achieved master rank as a sergeant.
Brandon Markert gets on the end of a poor clearance. He tried to lob over Castellanos and puts a little bit too much mustard on it, as it sails overboard. A counterattack opportunity for the Sailors to equalize once again.
But that's what we're talking about. That's what Newport needs to do, is to apply pressure as fast as possible and have that sense of urgency here in the beginning of the second half.
As you can see it, try to place it into that top corner. Good effort on Markert. Newport Harbor still in possession, looking for another goal-scoring opportunity. It was Hayden Baker who scored the first goal for the only goal for Newport Harbor. Here's Paredes with a great chance. A diving stop from Castellanos keeps that within his reach.
And I'm not sure if he was trying to pass it into the middle, but you see that great cutoff there by Angel Castellanos with that great awareness, because he had Lucarelli on the other side wide open to knock the ball into the back of the net back there. Another great play from the senior.
Strong defending from Daisner at the back line to force away Lancers attack. Just about 10 minutes into this second half. Lucarelli hangs on to possession, nutmegs a man. Tried to find Omar on the left wing, but is cut out. Newport Harbor still in possession. It's Young who was able to find Omar. It goes off of Saucedo for a Harbor throw-in. Excellent vision on both sides today, able to see the long ball before it happens, but the defense has been just as good, able to sniff it out while it's on the way. As first touch goes into the center of the pitch, Lucarelli will reclaim it. As Paredes slips, he was in a good opportunity with plenty of space to perhaps get on the end of that pass, but loses his footing.
We see the factor that the field is playing. He gets bit by the green monster right there, and that's happened to him twice already in this first half. You see two different opportunities, but that was the biggest opportunity I think Paredes would have had right there. And again, falling victim to the grass field.
And it's been warm of late, but as the night goes on, start to get a little dewy perhaps. Mentioned they're playing on turf. As the clearance goes all the way back the other half of the field. And deflection sets up a Lancer throw-in. It It was San Pasqual in 2025 last season that Bishop Amat took down 2-1 in overtime for them to claim the championship. Dangerous spillage in the Newport Harbor box, but no hesitation from Shepard to jump on it.
Great recognition from the young goalie right there, just stuffing that play there, and someone who also likes stuffed. Very own Patrick McCall.
That's a guy who knows a thing or two about good pizza. There's a collision around the 40-yard line. It's going to be a Lancer throw-in. I believe it was Paredes called for the egregious collision.
Yeah, Paredes has been on the opposite side of a few tough foul calls, and again, coming with that late slide. We saw this in the first half as well. A little bit of too much pressure from the young man.
Omar initially had it, but it ends up back near Wolfshagen, who kicks it off of his man. That's Saucedo over there on the right wing. As that one flicked up, trying to find Guillen for another goal. But heads up from Jack Shepard to corral it. Guillen looking for goal number 21 on the season, number 49 in his career. Omar races it down and forces Alvarez to boot it out of bounds. It'll be a Newport Harbor corner kick from the far side.
Yeah, he knew he had made a mistake right there, chasing down that ball, and unfortunately just trying to get that ball back in his own possession, and that one rolls out of play. This is a good opportunity here for the Sailors.
Gibson Young and Hayden Paredes standing over the corner kick. They play it short, a dead ball delivery near the front post, nearly met by Brandon Markert. Still in the vicinity of Castellanos, who ends up with it as he boots it up. Bishop Amat trying to play quickly on a counter here. He finds Gonzalez, the first goal scorer, and Wolfshagen with a diving tackle to boot it out of bounds.
Really good defense there from Wolfshagen. Not really much you could do there, just other than try to go after the ball and knock it out of play and let his defense reset at the back line there.
He's been all over the field tonight, playing left back for the Sailors. He's been asked to do some defensive duties. He provided the assist for Hayden Baker, and Newport's lone goal thus far, looking for number 2 to equalize in the championship game here from Veterans Memorial Stadium in Long Beach. 25 minutes to go.
Good communication there from Shepard, telling his teammate, hey, let the ball drop so I can take that thing out of there.
Markert has some space. It's Baker. Looking for help. He finds Lucarelli. Fakes his man out, gets to the back line, and off of a white jersey, it's going to be another Harbor corner kick. Great patience from both Landon Baker and Dominic Lucarelli to wait for the moment to sneak around their defender, and it sets up a corner kick for the Sailors.
Yeah, Lucarelli gave him the sauce right there, made his ankles break in the moment. That was really nice stuff. We've seen that a lot from Lucarelli tonight so far. And as much as we want to see a demonstration of that, I know our own Stephen Buxton would love to see that, but we don't have that.
As this one's going to go to the other side.
You try to flash kick that?
The Newport fans getting loud in Long Beach this evening. Now the Amat fans chanting back. It's a battle of the student sections here.
Those are the same guys from the first half?
They found their shirts, if that's the case.
What happened?
Another dead ball delivery from the corner. And this one's too strong. It goes out of bounds, but the left of the corner flag, so it's going to be a throw-in. So if Harbor can strategically get some numbers up without leaving the door wide open defensively, maybe they can force a turnover with the press. But for now, Bishop able to clear. Great positioning from Gonzalez to get over his man, but this time he pulls him down. He had a great spot to be in while that ball was bouncing around, and after he lost it, he got physical.
He got mixed up there by Dylan Gonzalez, who, yeah, like you said, dragged him down to the floor right there. And these are the advantages that Newport and Harbor has to tank. This has been the difference so far. They've been able to at least keep that ball on that side of the field, the right side of your screen.
As Paredes wins the recycled ball, lobs it into the box. Nobody's there but Omar. Can he finally take a shot? It's bouncing around. That one sails over the top of the crossbar. So many different chances for a Newport Harbor player to get on the end of that ball bouncing around Amat's 18-yard box, but they're asking all the right questions.
And even our super fans love that play right there. Maybe the Newport Harbor team needs a little bit of help from them. Take off the shirts, man. What are we doing?
During the halfway mark of this second half, as Baker's shot just sails over. Paredes with a shot, just squeezing past the left of the goal. He tried to pass it into the back of the net off the post. It was the right idea, just curls away as Newport Harbor desperately looking for an equalizer here.
Boy, this was such a good opportunity right here, and it's just left of that post, just that ball's length, and how close would that would have been. But I think he was also thinking at the same time he was going to have a little bit of help from the backside, and he just tried to put it at least close enough to that net where somebody could come back from behind and help him out.
Lucarelli ends up with it on the near side. Newport Harbor will recycle right to left. Wolfshagen looks for Landon Baker, but his pass is too strong. Some shuffling around with the front line of Newport. Gonna move things around to disrupt the back line of Bishop Amat. Collision on the far side, and a booking as Ali Omar is being shown a yellow. I believe they're showing that to Omar. It's either him or Landon Baker. Either way, a sailor's been booked, and we'll stop play here. Not sure who is down for Bishop Amat. Not sure where the collision was, but it's the second time that play has been stopped to check out a Lancer.
I'm not sure exactly what happened. Top left of your screen. There's been a collision right there at the backside, but now they have the physio out on the pitch.
Well, the first 20 minutes of this half started to feel like both teams were just feeling each other out defensively after the halftime changes, and all of a sudden Newport Harbor posing an offensive threat with a couple of shots on the Lancer goal. Castellanos had to get in the way of one of them, and a couple of corner kicks in dangerous areas, but unable to put one in the back of the net is Newport Harbor so far in the second half. looking for another equalizer. We're down 1-0 in the first half. Went down 2-1 with just under 2 minutes to go after the penalty was converted by Noah Guillen.
You see Newport start getting, they've been aggressive for the last 20 minutes, just trying to get that ball to the other side. More shots than Bishop Amat, who are just playing heavily conservatively on the back end.
A deflection off of a teammate, but a friendly fire there for the Lancers.
And hello, cup check.
It ends up with Calderon. As running out of room is Gonzalez. He runs into a wall of Sailors. Challenge from the back, and that is going to be booked. Omar is challenged by Dylan Gonzalez, and the card has come out. So Gonzalez will be subbed off. You can't do that, Chance are back in Long Beach.
Yeah, so Bishop Amat does it, and now Newport Harbor doing it. Yeah, you see a clear foul right there on the back end. Dylan Gonzalez engaging before Omar had a foot on that ball, or even Gonzalez for that matter. It looked just barely, maybe almost touched the ball, but Newport gets the benefit of the doubt right there.
Well, he's replaced. We'll let you know who has come in when we have word, but the delivery into the box of Bishop Amat is trickled around momentarily before it goes back the Harbor side of the field. Wolfshagen's attempt to find a teammate goes out of bounds, as he had trouble finding Gibson Young, who appears to in a bit of a fluster back there. A set piece for the Lancers. We'll see what they want to do with it. Delivered near the top of the 18-yard box, but nobody home for the Lancers. As it comes back near midfield, booted up back near the box and picked up by Hernandez. He tries to dribble past a couple of Sailors and earns himself a free kick here after the challenge from Hayden Baker. So the referee not as shy to show the yellow card here in half number 2. All the warning signs have been given.
This Omar still having trouble with that. That same left calf that he went down on earlier from that penalty that was drawn by Dylan Gonzalez, but yeah, another weird, really tough one there. You saw Young trying to plead his case of it, in representation of his own teammate, but doesn't get the benefit there.
5 white jerseys lining up near the back post, wanting to make a run. Waiting for the referee's whistle. And Elijah Ariola and deliver this set piece. Tries to chip it to the back post. Strong hands from Shepard, who comes off his line to grab it.
A great job by Shepard jumping out and realizing and understanding that's a veteran goalie move that you see there right there. Not many goalies are confident enough to come out their line like that, but that's exactly the type of player that Shepard is.
Angel Castellanos back in goal for Bishop Amat. He exited the first half after taking a cleat or piece of Hayden Baker's leg off the dome when Newport Harbor scored their only goal of the game thus far. Exited momentarily, but came back in for half number 2. And called into action a few times here, but his team in possession now. Flipped up by Hernandez. Now it's with Guillen. A right-footed shot is deflected And Wolfshagen got a piece of it, tried to clear it out. It might have been going to Shepard. Regardless, it's going to be Newport Harbor ball.
Another scary one once again. Right there inside the penalty box. He's just putting up the ball in the air. And again, the middle action there from this Bishop Amat team. That's what worked for them. And you see them trying to come back with a few counters here and there because they realize that Newport Harbor is trying to be aggressive, and they know that they have to be aggressive with this last 20 minutes up on the board. So they're taking it and trying to reverse it on and pull out the Uno reverse card on this Sailors team.
Great turn from Paredes, but he runs into trouble. No call from the referee as he keeps his whistle in his pocket.
Newport
16 minutes for Newport Harbor to equalize. Trailing 2-1 here in the CIF Southern Section Soccer Championship for Division II. Paredes took a touch, but it's deflected up. As both teams battling for possession in the middle of the pitch. Shove at the back from Gonzalez, but he keeps possession. Trying to take on Javier Jimenez, who started this game in the second half for Harbor. At that back line, deflection off of Gonzalez. It's back with Newport Harbor. Paredes is tripped up. Calderon's called for the foul.
And Calderon held him a little bit right there at that spot. Good call right there by the referee. Newport Harbor, you'd imagine them try to send down the line as far and deep as possible into the other side. Again, with the free kick here, and you gotta be able to force this right inside. Bring the pile in front of that goal.
As you can see, that hack of that right leg from Calderon on Paredes. The delivery towards the box, punched away from Castellanos. It'll stay on this half of the field. Newport trying to muster up a chance here. Markert hits the deck, but it's with his teammate Jimenez. His left-footed pass off the head of Omar, off target. He was offsides anyways.
I like the idea, but I imagine Omar would have tried to at least take the ball off a little bit instead of trying to go for the goal because he had a man right behind him. Let it settle because he's in front of the line right there anyways. Almost could have been offsides too, but imagine at least set up and put a set piece on.
No, Guillen with a good touch, but runs into Jack Shepard, who read it off the line.
And then he's like, you're freaking English picker.
Nice flick on from the midfielder, trying to find a forward, but even better reaction from Castellanos. Both goalkeepers tonight on top of their game as Gonzalez goes to ground. He's fouled by Wolfshagen. And this is not a spot you want to see a set piece or the other team down a goal.
Wolfshagen just trying to work one-on-one there with a very dangerous player in Isaac Gonzalez right there, and you see on the replay here just a little too much holding on the back end as he was trying to go for the ball there.
And pushing and shoving from both ends, but it is Wolfshagen who's called for the foul. But from the far side of the field, the delivery is short to the front post. Takes a deflection and stays in. As Newport dealt with that nicely. Markert up top by himself, has no help. Shoulder to shoulder for Gibson Young, keeps his man away. Great challenge by the defensive midfielder. Falls into the lap of Guillen. He's got plenty of space. He goes one-on-one with Jimenez. Cuts inside. Takes a shot, but it's blocked by Jimenez, who lets him know. Ever since Javier Jimenez has come into this game, Noah Guillen has not had the effective imprint on this game as he did in the first. As you can see it right there, loses that battle with Jimenez once again, and it fires up the Sailor faithful.
You see Javier Jimenez giving them the ear right there, and that was very close to being a penalty kick because if he was inside the line there, but you see the Newport faithful happy about that call.
12 and change remains in this ball game. Newport Harbor still looking for an equalizer.
I mean, they can celebrate all they want though, but they need to be able to knock this and make this level here. You got 11 minutes and almost 45 seconds to go in this game. They need something here.
Deflected off of Paredes. He reacted like he knows he should have had that one. As the fans who have made it out to Veterans Memorial Stadium, whether you're wearing navy blue or royal blue, are having a blast tonight. Guillen tries to find Saucedo with a switch to the right wing, but it goes out.
There hasn't been a whole lot of offsides calls in this game so far, but that is just how disciplined these two teams are with these two head coaches facing off each other. We're talking about some of the best we've seen in Southern California around this region, because we're talking about two programs that may not have been up there for the longest time, but Bishop Amat, they've been around as the top contender in the San Gabriel Valley, and Newport Harbor is just starting to get their name known out there, and especially if they can win tonight, they'll put them on the map for sure after this.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, coming into this game, Newport Harbor ranked 77th in the nation, 22nd in the state. Or Bishop Amat, it's 110th in the nation, 33rd in the state. So both teams on paper have that quality in comparison to the rest of the nation and the rest of the state. But here in Long Beach, 70 minutes in, it's been the Lancers who have had the advantage. 10 minutes to go in this championship game. As the clock slowly ticking down.
I'm surprised they don't stop the clock when the ball goes out like that.
I was going to say, Justin, we're at the time of the game where Bishop Amat have no problem relishing a little bit and taking their time, getting to any set piece or throw in or just any opportunity. No need to rush if you're wearing white. For the Sailors, urgency is certainly kicking in now.
This is 100% crunch time right here, and yeah, like you said, that's what you imagine Bishop Amat doing, just playing this out, going the length of the game, and realizing that they are really putting the Sailors on a wall right here. Their backs are to the wall here, and they need to start moving these bodies down the field.
Paredes hits the deck. He's down and injured as he grabs at his hip, it looks like. That's not a good sign.
It's a non-contact injury. He didn't get touched by anybody. He just went down on the floor, and it's a big set piece in the middle. It's hard. You see a little bit of stumble there, and that's not a good sign.
So now the clock will stop, and all the attention is on Hayden Paredes.
He's almost stumbling there, trying to catch himself too. So hopefully that's not worst case scenario, because they definitely need Paredes out on the field. But look, this has been a really close fight between two teams that are both championship experience, but one side, one of the best in the state, number 2 previously ranked. I'm talking about Bishop Amat. versus a team that is making basically a comeback season. And, after coming into a season where they had a lot of high hopes coming out of that Division II win in the CIF Southern section, but because of the injuries and other factors, they just never really got on track with that 5-9-1 record. But they've been the big surprise in SoCal, is the 16-3-2 record coming into this game, and they've shown out that they can play with the best. We talked about the number one team being Downey, them being able to knock them off in this CIF Southern section tournament, but now they have to face off against a team that just has plenty of that experience.
As you see Nacho Sid right there, really turning this program into what it is today, something that the Newport faithful can be proud of. You mentioned only 3 losses on the season coming into today. 2 of those were within the first 3 games of the season. They started out with a 3-2 victory over Rancho Alamitos and dropped back-to-back 1-0 games at Yorba Linda and at Los Alamitos. 2 local schools, obviously Los Alamitos, a Sunset League rival historically, and since then it's just been nothing but W's, other than another 1-0 loss back in January to Edison. And since then it's been 1, 2, 3, 4, nearly 10 consecutive unbeaten matches for Newport Harbor, including the 4 straight wins that they've gotten on this playoff run. But just under 10 minutes to go in this postseason picture for the CIF Southern Section Division II. As we're underway once again, following the injury of Paredes. Newport Harbor trying to find what's left deep down in their competitive spirit to equalize. Arkert on the far side. He gets past his man with a spin move. Trying to set something up. Collision! Is there going to be a penalty? Referee says no. There was certainly a touch. It's just a matter if it was egregious enough or a blown whistle. The fans don't like it. To be honest, I don't blame them.
Wow, I mean, that was, if nothing else tells you otherwise, and that should have been a penalty kick, but Bishop Amat surely is happy with a no call there.
We'll take a look at it here, as might have gotten a hand in on it. Instant reaction from the defender.
It looks like Calderon almost got a foot on that ball too, so maybe that's why they were saying that he was the one that wasn't called with that penalty kick, because he actually managed to get a foot on the ball there. But the head referee is on that 30-yard line, so I'm not sure. I mean, maybe he had a good view of it enough, but with a little bit of help from the side judges as well.
Bishop Amat fans can start to feel it now. They're starting to celebrate just a bit, but still work left to do for them to close this one out. Work to do for Newport if they're going to tie it up. Saucedo tries to run it down. Six minutes and change remaining in this one.
I mean, you can't count the Sailors out yet, though, but because that was last week, they scored within the last 5 minutes with Brandon Markert's score with a deep throw in by Kingston Wolshagen, but they have to be able to give themselves an opportunity by pushing this ball on the other side with almost less than 6 minutes left in the game.
As at this point, Bishop Amat more than happy with playing this game of letting the ball go in and out of bounds to just kill that clock as we're about to move under 6 minutes. The Bishop Amat fans celebrating on the left side here of Veterans Memorial Stadium, Long Beach Community College.
We talk about the microscopic plays about this game, and we talked about it with that penalty kick. That mistake by Alex Silva, and they become so microscopic in these games. They came in level, going into the half and then just give up that mistake to the best player on that team.
Newport in possession here. They have it on the far side, but a heavy touch from Markert gives it away, and he takes his man down with him. We're at the part of the game, just over 5 minutes left, where fatigue starts to kick in, legs start to get heavy. And players really got to dig deep if they're going to find that extra gear. Right now, it's just a Noah Guillen penalty kick. That's the difference between the Sailors and the Lancers. As Isaac Gonzalez is tripped up. He's going to have no problem letting this one run out.
He's taking his time, so I'm not sure if they're going to try to stop the clock here, because you see him asking, hey, do you need the PT? Do you need the PT? He's letting the clock run down as far as possible. But as you see right there, Langdon Baker trying to get him up on his feet, saying, hey, it wasn't really like a help push. It's like, hey, get up off the floor and stop faking that injury. You see right here that little run into right there and kind of stuck the foot there by Wolfshagen.
Bit of embellishment from the Lancer, I'll be honest, but he does his job and gets the call. Daniel Rico in the game now.
Uncle Rico's into the game.
As he's going to go up and play attack in midfield, try to get on the end of a pass from whoever can provide it. Newport Harbor, 4.5 to go, looking for an equalizer. Trailing 2-1 to Bishop Amat in the Southern Section Championship game for Division II.
And Daniel Rico is the place kicker for the Newport Harbor football team.
Yen challenges his man, knocks him over. Left-footed shot is past Shepard, but into the side netting. Great individual effort.
This feels like this could be the last 2 chances that Newport might get within, the last 4 minutes of the game. They have to be able to give themselves a chance to do something here.
So there's the look at that shot attempt from Noah Guillen, looking to add to his goal tally. Rex Shepard comes off his line to do some work defensively. Switch of play to the far side. Lucarelli can't get there. Substitutions starting to come in. Final moments of this ball game.
The clock is running down, so I'm not sure if they're going to reset that thing while the substitutions come in or whatnot.
Bishop Amat having no problem walking their way on and off the pitch. Trying to see out this final 2 minutes and change. Michael Luna, defensive captain. As someone's down at the back line for Newport Harbor. As they're getting checked out by the athletic trainer.
I don't want to be a hater on turf fields, but that's the result you see a lot of the time when it comes to these injuries, these non-contact injuries. So I don't know if that had a factor here on Wolfshagen, but
look at that. He's just inching himself off the field so that he can be substituted for. That's a man playing for the team on the front of the jersey and not the back.
Yeah. And Sebastian Salcedo was taken out as well. I think he had an injury too, and he got switched out. And that's a motto this season for the Sailors: always be unselfish and put the team first. Exactly what Wolfshagen did, putting himself out.
There's a chance for Newport Harbor to put something into the box, but it's a half-hearted effort, and coming off the line is Castellanos to corral it. Needed a little bit more power on that cross. It was going to head to the back post. Lancers with numbers, attacking on Newport Harbor now. Gutierrez in the game now, replacing Wolfshagen at that left wing back position. As the ball ends up in the corner, it's going to be a game of keep away now.
You see Wolfshagen at the top left of your screen limping out. That's a great sign there.
Rico able to run that down and retain possession for the Sailors. It's on the end of it, trying to find Markert. It wins the race, but can't keep it in bounds. Heck of an effort from Brandon Markert to chase down that pass. Daniel Rico just ran out of space.
You hear that Bishop Amat team getting ready to rush the field as soon as that clock strikes 0.
And the pressure is on for Newport Harbor as Noah Guillen, the difference in this match after his penalty kick put the Lancers ahead 2-1 just before the end of the first half. Trying to set up Guillen, but unsuccessfully. Great tackle at the back from Calderon to keep possession for Bishop.
And you see Newport Harbor trying to push their pieces across the field instead of focusing on that back line. Oh,
when a card is shown, immediately, I believe that's Landon Baker who gets shown the card. Whoever that is for Bishop Amat is fired up. I don't know what happened, but he's taken the entire starting 11 and possibly the bench to hold him back. Brandon Markert's fired up. Dominic Lucarelli's fired up. It's getting chippy here in Long Beach as we get to the conclusion of this championship game.
Someone's got to take him to the sauna and have him cool out there. You see the little push there by Rico on the backside, and
that's it right there.
Yeah.
They're gonna say, I think,
just a little bit of a bump, a little friendly bump there.
I think Baker was just trying to jump over him and never really had the legs to do so.
I'm surprised he pulled a red card there. That's such an uncalled for thing.
The red card was shown to Landon Baker, so he's out. Newport Harbor down a man for the final stretches of this match. As the wheels are falling off the bus.
You see they put some time back up on the clock there at 52 seconds, but this is going to be tough for Newport to pull this one out of the bag. We're talking about a miracle here for the Sailor team.
And there's the final. No. It's just a loud whistle on the foul. Didn't realize that was going to be called a foul. Looked like more of a shoulder challenge from Jimenez, but it's enough to blow the whistle. Keep away now for Bishop Amat with less than a minute to go. Out of bounds off of a Lancer, so last chance for the Sailors to put something on net. Goes out of bounds, the clock hits 0, and the Lancers lose their minds as they win their second Division II championship in the Southern section in 3 seasons. Back to back they go as they take down Newport Harbor. Newport Harbor falls short in a magical season. As the Lancers ecstatic about their shot in this championship game. They win it 2-1. It was a penalty kick in the first half, scored by Noah Guillen. That was the difference in this one. The goal scorer for Newport Harbor was Hayden Baker, scored on an assist from Kingston Wolfshagen. Newport Harbor 1 goal short in this championship game here from Long Beach, California. As you can see what it means to the leader, Dominic Lucarelli. So Bishop Amat celebrate. Once again, they win this one 2-1 and claim the Division II Southern Section CIF Championship. As we'll take a quick break and return. Once again, for TAR TV Sports, I'm Zachary Durham on play-by-play alongside Justin Lee. Don't go in.
The Ford F-Series, America's best-selling trucks, 48 years strong. Now it's time for the Ford F-150 PowerBoost Hybrid 4x4. With an estimated driving range of around 700 miles and the muscle to tow up to 11,200 pounds. It's tough, it's fuel efficient, it's a hybrid that gets the job done. Get the Ford F-150 PowerBoost Hybrid with 0.9% APR financing and start saving at the pump. Hurry in today.
At Hogue Orthopedic Institute, there's no one better at getting you back to you. Orthopedics and spine, it's all we do.
The Ford F-150, a workhorse with the power to take on anything. From California's best-selling truck brand. Now you can lease the Ford F-150 STX for only $359 a month. Just $359. Hurry in today.
As Principal Sean Bolton just handed head coach Nacho Sid a runner-up plaque for this championship run. Not the plaque or trophy that he wanted, as that one's being handed to the champions of the Division II Southern Section, the Bishop Amat Lancers.
Congratulations on a fantastic season. Let's hear it one more time for your 2026 Division II CIF Southern Section champions.
They won it last year when they took down San Pastor 2-1 in overtime. And they win it this year with a similar scoreline, 2-1 over Newport Harbor. As we welcome you back in, this is I'm Zach Durham here with Justin Lee, and what a matchup that we just saw for the championship game. What a battle it was. I mean, really a game of two halves. It's so easy to say that, but in half one, all offensive attack. You throw a punch, I'll throw a counter punch, and in that second half, it was all chess, just defensive chess pieces left and right. And Bishop Amat knew they just had to go 40 minutes, keeping Newport Harbor out of the goal, and they did exactly that.
Yeah, it's a story of two tales between two different coaches who approached this game very differently, but one ended up being the one to come up on top, and now Bishop Amat has a chance to go for a second state title in a row in the regionals when they move on. But for Newport Harbor, you got to give them a lot of credit for what they've been able to do this season, because not many people realize that this was a team with this senior class, this very big senior class, that they were going to even make it this far. First of all, a year ago we talked about the season that they dropped, a lot of injuries, a lot of problems for them on the back end, but this time they made it all the way back and almost made to two championships in 3 seasons. That's not easy to do, especially in the high school atmosphere now, and especially in the southern section, one of the biggest sections in the entire country. It's not easy to do that here in SoCal.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned all those seniors on this team: Jack Shepard, Dominic Lucarelli, Marco Panetti, Ali Omar, Charlie Box, Landon Baker, Hayden Baker, Brandon Markert, Alex Silva, Kingston Wolfshagen, Cameron Daisner, Jesus Gutierrez, Andrew Arvalo, Briggs Mock, Gibson Young, Andy Rodas, and Kalish Voletti, all of the seniors on Nacho Sid's squad. That senior leadership just fell up a little bit short tonight, but certainly not because of a lack of effort.
No, certainly not because of a lack of effort. It was just, there was, some bad, unfortunate problems for them in that first half. They made it level, they made it a game, and then that tough mistake right at almost at the very end, giving that penalty kick. They're basically their best goal scorer, and for a guy like Noah Guillen, who had to watch from behind some of the best that program has had, he took it into his own hands and put it out in front for Bishop Amat. And this class, the senior class for Bishop Amat, now has a task of going and trying to get that second title in a row for a school that has been up there for some time. And under Coach Steve Jimenez, he's really changed the outlook of a school from San Gabriel Valley.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you never want to look at a game and point at one specific moment and say that's the game right there, but certainly felt like it in that first half, in the crucial moment when Guillen went down after he was fouled in the box, and he converts on the penalty to put his team ahead 2-1. And the rest is history.
Yeah, the rest is history, and they're going to try to make history again. But, this is not the end for a Newport Sailors team. They're going to come back next year, a different class. All these freshmen who are here, they get to watch this team do what they do, and they're going to take it into their own hands and, be inspired for what they want to do the next time. We're talking about 2 different classes that had to watch this team. You talk about the seniors on this team from 2 years ago. They had to watch those guys, some of them part of that championship team, but now they brought it here, and now it's up to the next few guys to come back, take the ranks, and try to make it back here under a head coach who's very capable of bringing them back here.
Well, don't go anywhere, folks. Post-game coverage continues on TAR TV, as we're going to have a quick word with Nacho Sid, as we'll be back with that. Don't go anywhere with Zach Durham, Justin Lee here. We'll be back on TAR TV.
The Ford F-Series, America's best-selling trucks, 48 years strong. Now it's time for the Ford F-150 PowerBoost Hybrid 4x4. With an estimated driving range of around 700 miles and the muscle to tow up to 11,200 pounds. It's tough, it's fuel efficient, it's a hybrid that gets the job done. Get the Ford F-150 PowerBoost Hybrid with 0.9% APR financing and start saving at the pump. Hurry in today.
At Hoag Orthopedic Institute, there's no one better at getting you back to you. Orthopedics and spine, it's all we do.
The Ford F-150, a workhorse with the power to take on anything. From California's best-selling truck brand. Now you can lease the Ford F-150 STX for only $359 a month. Just $359. Hurry in today. Hybrid 4x4 has an estimated range of around 700 miles and the muscle to tow more than 11,000 pounds. Get the Ford F-150 PowerBoost Hybrid with 0.9% APR financing and start saving at the pump. The Ford F-Series, America's best-selling trucks, 48 years strong. Now it's time for the Ford F-150 PowerBoost Hybrid 4x4. With an estimated driving range of around 700 miles and the muscle to tow up to 11,200 pounds. It's tough, it's fuel efficient, it's a hybrid that gets the job done. Get the Ford F-150 PowerBoost Hybrid with 0.9% APR financing and start saving at the pump. Hurry in today.
At Hoag Orthopedic Institute, there's no one better at getting you back to you. Orthopedics and spine, it's all we do.
The Ford F-150, a workhorse with the power to take on anything. From California's best-selling truck brand. Now you can lease the Ford F-150 STX for only $359 a month. Just $359. Hurry in today. The Ford F-150 Hybrid 4x4 has an estimated range of around 700 miles and the muscle to tow more than 11,000 pounds. Get the Ford F-150 PowerBoost Hybrid with 0.9% APR financing and start saving at the pump.
Welcome back in as we're ready to have a word with Newport Harbor head coach Nacho Sid, as obviously tonight didn't end the way that any Sailor fan would want it to go, but how can you reflect on this season and turn this into a positive looking back on this 2025-2026 season?
Yeah, I mean, it hurts, right? It's like you study hard for a test, you don't get the grade you want. You know, it probably hurts a little more than when you don't study for a test and you don't get the grade you want. So the boys worked really hard and probably stings a little bit more, right? But, you know, if you were looking back at November when we start, you know, this was probably something that we would be reaching for, right? And to just arrive here is a tremendous accomplishment for those guys. So I'm happy for them. I'm happy they got the experience, and I'm happy, you know, they played an amazing, like they demonstrated for their community, for their families, for themselves, like they left their soul on the field, and they don't understand it now, but they will. That means a lot.
Coach Sid, I don't want to take away from what you've been able to do from a season ago, or the last few seasons that you've been here with this program. Obviously last year was not the outcome that you wanted, but this year was a big step up from what it was a year ago. And with these seniors, they did what they had to do tonight, and they really did their job today. And what are you going to miss most from this senior class?
Well, I think that what we tried to accomplish internally with the senior classes, their ability to kind of maintain the culture that we've had, even the group last year, results aside, are able to maintain the culture of, the kind of team we want to be. And although we might not always have the greatest talent, we're still a big pest to all teams that they don't really want to play against us because we're relentless. So what I enjoy, what I'm grateful for, is that the seniors once again demonstrated that, and that is what really carries on for many, many years, outside of the silverware.
Nacho, obviously you're losing a lot of seniors. What's the mindset that you're going to take into next year with a lot of these guys that are on this team that will be returning for next year, with a lot of newcomers maybe getting a lot more playing time? What are you most excited about for the future of Newport Harbor soccer?
Well, I just like opportunity, people have opportunity, individuals have opportunity, as a team we have an opportunity, and I like the writing of the story, I like the process. So it's exciting to kind of start writing the story now and see where it ends up. And, the times that we've been successful, I don't know if anybody would have written the story that way, but I like the fact that the next group has a chance to write their own story.
Coach, final thing here, and you've embraced this community of Newport Harbor and understanding what it needed to take to build a program here when you first came in back in 2018, and understanding that you need to develop local talent, but that also comes with developing relationships with these families, and they all came, obviously there's a bunch of them at the stadium tonight. What does it mean to you to have this community come and embrace you as a coach in turn?
Yeah, I like my role. I enjoy my role. I want to give a good program for the boys. But I don't know if – I think that the boys and the program sets a very inspiring performance where people want to see it, right? They want to see what they can accomplish. They know these boys. They know what they have to do to get to this point. And when it happens, people want to witness that, right? So I'm just happy that the boys get to inspire people. They get to do something that not a lot of people can do, right? And I'm not talking about getting to the finals or winning it, or I'm just talking about the process that they're able to accomplish. People want to see that. It's like I tell the boys, it's like watching a superhero movie. You guys are like superheroes. You're doing stuff people cannot always do, and they're here because they want to see you do it. So I'm just happy for them that they got to have their families watch them do this.
Nacho, thank you so much for taking time to talk with us today. Seriously grateful for everything that you do for these young men and this program. So once again, congratulations on this season, and thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, what a ball game. What a way to cap off the night. It was not the way that Newport Harbor wanted to end the season, but certainly something, after talking with Nacho there, sounds like he's keeping his head pretty high, and he would want his team to do the same.
Yeah, that's what we talked about before we came out into that break is, you see these freshmen watching on these seniors and being inspired. That's what Nacho said, is being inspired to do the next thing. And it's not about the wins. It's not about those things. It's about making an impact on the next few guys, because he wants to build not just players, not just boys. He wants to turn these boys into men, give them the life skills that they need to move on into life and be able to be, understandable human beings. That's the big thing at the end of the day. Embracing this community, building them out from the ground up, and building a program here at Newport Harbor that is one that we're going to probably see a lot more often in the future for sure, Zach.
Absolutely. And once again, that'll do it for this season for Newport Harbor. They dropped the championship game to Bishop Amat 2-1, but it was Hayden Baker, the goal scorer, with Kingston Wolfshagen with an assist. A great dish, a great finish, as they say, as certainly something they can hold their heads high on. They scored a goal, or well, at least Hayden Baker can say he scored a goal in a CIF championship game. As that'll do it for us here on TAR TV. I'm Zach Durham on play-by-play alongside Justin Lee. So be sure to follow us on TAR TV Sports on Instagram for our full broadcast schedule and updates on upcoming coverage. Catch us next time on Saturday, March 7th, where we will be covering a Newport Harbor softball versus Long Beach Wilson. Long Beach very common today. In a very strong matchup, both of those programs very good head-to-head. So thank you for spending your evening with us for this matchup between the Newport Harbor Sailors and the Bishop Amat Lancers. For everyone here at TAR TV Sports and to our friends and family watching at home, thank you for being with us tonight. Good night from Long Beach.
F-Series, America's best-selling trucks, 48 years strong. Now it's time for the Ford F-150 PowerBoost Hybrid 4x4. With an estimated driving range of around 700 miles and the muscle to tow up to 11,200 pounds. It's tough, it's fuel efficient, it's a hybrid that gets the job done. Get the Ford F-150 PowerBoost Hybrid with 0.9% APR financing and start saving at the pump. Hurry in today.
At Hoag Orthopedic Institute, there's no one better at getting you back to you. Orthopedics and spine, it's all we do.
The Ford F-150, a workhorse with the power to take on anything. From California's best-selling truck brand. Now you can lease the Ford F-150 STX for only $359 a month. Just $359. Hurry in today. F-150 Hybrid 4x4 has an estimated range of around 700 miles and the muscle to tow more than 11,000 pounds. Get the Ford F-150 PowerBoost Hybrid with 0.9% APR financing and start saving at the pump.